feather, all that stuff. And of course, we're all saddened by this 5-week break. But what a dessert. This man brings out a confectionery assortment of planetary themed treats and sweets. Moons, Mars.
Cole has a great voice.
It was.
That's one of the reasons why it's easy to watch him. He's funny.
This time around, I did not.
You know,
so going into
kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, but he's funny. He has a great voice, and he at least reviews the chapter properly.
My reaction to the chapter, then you can go back, of course, to the
tired
channel for the entire stream. Link in the box below. I'm sorry, for the entire reaction stream, but for the full stream, for the tier 3 stuff and beyond, that of course on my Twitch.tv channel. So reaction only on Cole Requiem. Reaction with extra stuff on Twitch. Number 2 is that if you don't know now, Zoro Beast reaction is live.
Man, that Zoro
anime reaction channel.
It's one of, I have to, it's probably top 5 One Piece, probably top 10, because we can't put it top 5 because we have to have character, we have to have the stuff that 1015 had. Like 1015 was just One Piece encapsulated into one episode. Oh my god! This one, Zoro was like one of the best fights in One Piece history.
Use Cole Surfshark VPN, baby. You know the drill.
But still has to have character. They could have added a better flashback. Well, it's fine though. It's fine. I just wonder what happened to Gear 5. Ooh. And this nigga.
VPN play. But then finding out in this chapter that Emu made the call because he wanted to test out Vegapunk's creation, the Mother Flame, which at first I thought was the name of the actual object.
The Mother Flame. But it's just a weird Japanese thing using L and R. I wonder if it actually matters. It probably doesn't even matter. So, topic. Well, I actually want to go through the review, just critique it.
But the power source is probably Mother Flame. And well, that is exactly.
I could just pause it actually. Never mind.
Yes, there's a break, of course. But I have so many videos planned.
It's
sit down, do the research, do the script.
Much better.
All the recording you do, and just plug out theory after theory after theory. Man, because the Mother Flame, I think, kind of ties to various things, various themes that that's kind of pushed out there concerning fire. And fire.
So I wonder what happened with that with the Vegapunk because he said that he doesn't have the energy source. So this Mother thing, what is that? Has to be. I mean, he didn't lie. Maybe that flame isn't like it's incomplete, or maybe it's like a fake. I think Moore's put out a video about something about, I don't know. I didn't watch the video because but I can guess like what it's like when. Why would Vegapunk create a mass murder machine? Like, I mean, I wonder what happened. We've yet to see what happened to the island. Like afterwards, I feel like it has to be destroyed because like it's like a big explosion. You know, it has to be like it can't be some like mind or erasure thing. It has to be like actual like pain. So like I just wonder, what if it's like I don't know. A freeze gun, like it's something that like it just can't like kill everybody. Something has to happen to them. Maybe they all turn into like mini emu zombies. Oh wow, mini emu zombies? That's crazy. Like in the 4th Great Ninja War, when those freaking Zetsus. Oh my god, Naruto. All right, let's start.
Okay. You kick ass. And I already did have a video planned on that one. I was focused mainly on Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, but now I'm going to expand even more because, I think the themes are there for sure. They mean more than folks would think. So I have so many videos planned. But Emu, the Savage. Why Lucia Kingdom? Well, you know what? It's close by. I mean...
This nigga just said... well, Great Emu, there are people there. There's no matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Why though? It's just right there. It's right there. That's so chilling. It's like you can laugh at it, but at the same time, it's like fuck. Look at this. Damn. This is the microphone. That's brazy. Don't worry. You get it. Oh my god, I can't wait to get a better one. Soon.
I want to kill millions because it's just close by. Why not? But I think it's also indicative.
Oda had to make that. I feel like those people are dead. Those people are dead. Those people on Lucy are dead.
Distance, all right. Lucy King is close by because the motherfucker himself, let's say, may not be that absolute power source like what they had back in the day. So again, thoughts just running. And of course, when it comes to the elder planets themselves, I was kind of surprised that the one that folks said was the Mars one was not the Mars one. It was, in fact, the finance one, and he is Venus. All right, Ethan.
Doesn't even matter. It matters.
Do you? I'm not too sure how Valkyrie ties to Mercury.
The names. Let me see the names right now. 5 elder planets. I think they changed that. They just said like the Gorosei in the Viz. He didn't put out. This is like his spoiler shit. I hope he didn't put out the Viz review yet. It's been like so long. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Oh man, I can't. I think I only watch like a few. I watch Arthur. No, not Arthur. I watch Cole. Tekken. I used to watch Morge all the time, but no. I'm not gonna say that. Morge's reviews are good, but his streams though, I don't know about his streams. Who else? Second. Rogers, fine, I suppose. And that's it. I'm trying to look for like the lower tier guys. The guys are like people are like, I'm trying to look for like everybody else. Like who else has the One Piece podcast? The One Piece podcast is a really nice. They're so like white and like very American and like ugh. But they're great though. They're great. I wish they were on YouTube. What else? That's about it. I used to watch Brago all the time, but oh man, I grew up. He's cool though. He has does he have a great voice? I'm not sure. I think he does. He probably does have a great voice. Who else? Murphy Napier is tough. We may watch her next. Oh, sorry, I need some water.
Man, and Valkyrie kind of equals Mercury and some. It's a more complicated thing because I think it involves also the Valkyries, that's Valkyrie. So it's a bit weird there. Of course, saying Jay Garcia Saturn is a given. Who would have thought that Sanji's dad had that kind of flex? I don't know. Ooh, or I guess his uncle. Sanji's uncle, all right, had the flex of a shepherd. Biblical Moses status. Jew Peter. I got a friend named Peter, and I'm calling him from now on Jew Peter. These guys and the planetary themes and the names. How far from origin? Are they just themes, or are they more literal? There's so many things you have to wonder. And some folks were kind of making a mistake because I saw it in the stream where only 2 of them have the same title to them. That could have been a prior mistranslation by another scam. Saturn is the defense science, which makes sense why he's going over to Egghead Island. So he runs that sector, right? Then you have
I watch Townsy's cool. Stuff. I just like people that just like people are weird on this One Piece shit. I'm not gonna lie. People are really fucking weird. Like, it's fun, but I don't know. I'm just doing like it's fun to talk about. Quite frankly, like, people take this shit way too serious.
That was a big
fanatics. What the fuck? Calm down.
Part of the reason why the past
Townsy's cool.
has been so good.
There's some people to watch, and there's some people not to watch.
Oda has built
it's very clear.
So many of these legacy characters, the Gorosei, Garp, Dragon, and so on and so forth. And in the final saga, you can finally cash in on a lot of the stuff he's built up for these characters. So when they do something, or when something is real about these characters, it's a big deal. When Saint J. Garcia Sad was revealed of itself, that was phenomenal. To get the rest of them in this chapter, Oda,
Yeah,
a
he's
lot
right
of
about
times
that. It was like a slow burn. If there's no way that like Garcia is like on what's it called, right? I don't think that's like that just had to be I mean, because Garcia looks like the blob, like the little thing that Oda drew back when he first drew the blob thing and took out the camera. So, but it's probably not. It's probably not. I don't think so.
like mystical with the stuff. Just the name.
I wish it was.
And that alone can stir up so. Yo, you guys don't get one take. Why I'm hungry at own can stir up so much discussion, so much hype, so much interest, so much value for the story itself. Just the name drop, and that alone means the world. And in this case here, we got five worlds.
We have so many factions. And it's like the girls say, the Straw Hats can't fight every single person. The revolutionaries have to like do this stuff too.
We did have the other Seraphim, so I'm assuming it's S-Cross.
Oh my God, the Seraphim!
Or
like the Seraphim, like who the Seraphim gonna fight? Like what side of the Seraphim is even gonna be on? Could it be on Dragon side? Wouldn't that be crazy?
And it looks like we're gonna be getting some stuff with them.
I just feel like Blackbeard is such a special character. And he's a pirate. He's like the government feels like the final boss because they're the evil people. They're like the ones that like that have to be taken down. They feel like the grander thing. But I feel like what's it called? Blackbeard could like swoop in as a kind of like a not at the after the story, but like kind of like as a after the main thing. Like, hey, before we get to One Piece.
Empty gloves, crocodile, Mihawk, and so on.
I don't know. What order is he gonna put in it? It's so frustrating to like trying to like think about.
Gaw versus Kuzan and that kind of stuff. But only after we sell the immediate Luffy strap crew stuff. So let's say they beat the Seraphim, and then there is going to be a jump to other parts of the world before the next day arrives in Egged Island. The day of promise, when Kizaru and like 100 ships arrive. I think we.
I wonder what the ships are going to look like when they arrive to Vegapunk,
in the meantime, we get the hype, the source for the God Knights, and why Dragon, and why Dragon's words have some merit. Not because they did really anything outside of seemingly brutally executed and crucified St. Don fucking Milsgard. Damn.
It wasn't. I think he went through like a character change from Fishman Island to here. Kind of sucks for him.
Actually,
like shout out to him.
Shirahoshi 2 times in a big way, and he gets executed, crucifixion style, the same way Doflamingo, his dad, and Rocinante were strung up, crucified style by the civilians of that country. This guy did the same thing to Milsgard. St. Figureland Garland. Yo, this man has a sauce. He looks like he could be a true force of nature, man. That's the reason why he has that crazy crescent moon haircut. Because this man tugs on the world the same way the moon would. And now, finally, what we learned in One Piece Film Red is officially starting to become canon. We're finding out, okay, he was the kid.
I think Shanks, it's just leading up to like Shanks probably being a figureman. But it's like, I don't know, they found him on the treasure chest. Figureland, they didn't confirm that like Shanks is, it just doesn't. I want to wait for it. I don't even care. It doesn't confirm shit. It doesn't confirm shit. Maybe, most likely, but it's not confirmed. It's not. They found him in the chest. Does that make him like a part of the fucking family? Like it's not written. Like I have to see that shit in the story. I'm sorry. I don't know. About theories. Like, am I wrong? Somebody please tell me if I'm wrong. Like in the comments.
He's Shanks' grandpappy. Nah. He's got something going on here. So. How do they actually? We have to wait and see. We have to really find out. But the silhouette we saw earlier of the God Knights.
Those silhouettes. This is so dumb. Oh my god. They said it was Shanks because the silhouette looked like Shanks. Shanks' brother. and then people just eat those videos up. Billions of, oh my god, thousands of views. Yeah, One Piece War.
Commander-in-Chief. He's a supreme commander of the God Knights. He was the guy in front, allegedly. Nothing. He looks nothing like a silhouette. Not even close. Where's the crescent moon activity? And so what? Zero. Zilch. Nada. So look, this guy, intimidating. What a way to end off. What a way to end off the last chapter of this crazy Oda run, where he's bringing back Kakashi's words, but the dark evil twist on it. Anyone who protects scum is lower than the scum they protect. He crucified
that was a good line.
Guard. Kill him.
Because he's just using it. But that's true though. Like if you protect him like a villain, you know,
he's in his bag, man. He's in his bag. So Oda,
it's just applied in the wrong situation. Like Fishman or scum.
I have so many videos, and they're gonna blow you up. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout, and I'm gonna see you cats on the flip side.
Who the hell was I watching?
These Dolphin shades.
And you can only see the people.
He doesn't know how he looks. He doesn't know how he looks. Shout out to Kodo, that nigga.
Wrapped them in his void, and they were able to do whatever they can do, to include this random spike thingy that can shoot out from one of them and attack Sabo and cause him terrible pain. If this is wrong, which I'm willing to accept that this might be wrong, I'm wrong often. If this is wrong, then we have to accept that that means that the image that Morgan's got.
Murphy's cool. She doesn't. I skip all theories. When people say theory, I just try to skip it. I don't really care because it just spoils the story for me.
And Kodo.
Get away from me.
That means that Morgan's is aware of what's going on behind the scenes. That means that he knows that these elders can transform into something, and he probably is also aware of Imu, which makes Morgan's one of the most important and valuable characters in all of One Piece right now. If that's true, if these guys are not wrapped up in Void, and this is just some nondescript something, and they were seen in that Denden Mushi, and then and Morgan's just decided to crop the image, then he probably took the full image and sent it to them and said, "Hey, I can take everything to the ground right now. What do you have for me?" Which he absolutely would do, by the way. Morgans would never hesitate to blackmail the highest authority in all of the world. Never hesitate. He would say, "I've already got the newspaper made. I've already got it to print. I'll send it out in 2 seconds before you can get anybody out here to kill me. What do you have for me?"
And as I'm editing, looking at these images side by side, I even lean a little bit more towards this theory because if you look at the top of the wheelchair,
let's go back. Murphy is actually, I didn't even think about the cameras at all.
This is
that is actually very true. But this is actually a Blackbeard and what's it called? End of War Stream. So let me get back on the end of War Stream. End of game war end game war stream. Jesus Christ, Bobby. Actually, let's just get back on topic. It's fine.
Love. Anyway, shadow people. So if we look at the panel of Sabo standing over Cobra's body, and we see the shadow people standing around him, one of which is coming above him.
Like, who are going to
flying.
fight these guys?
Pretty natural. Two.
Like, the Straw Hats, they just like I don't know. Like, we just have to start worrying about this shit.
Image of what we saw in the newspaper. So this is it. I mean, we even see the Denden Mushi.
The only fights that we should be worth watching. I just think that Luffy's gonna fight one, but the Straw Hats are not gonna fight any of the base. I don't see that. They're gonna have to be different people that aren't here yet. Maybe Yamato. No. Fuck. Jinbei, Sanji, Zoro, Yamato. Oh God. Frankie. Come on. Oh, Frankie. Robin Chuan. Whoa. Maybe another character. All right. Maybe. Who knows? But I don't see it. I don't know. We have to. Who would do it? Garp? Maybe it's just, you know what? Luffy's gonna fight all of them at once. Luffy's just gonna fight all of them at once. That's it. Because Luffy's that nigga. That's just what's gonna happen.
That's there recording it or taking a picture of it. Like, this is the moment. And we know this because 1 second later, Sabo's running away with Cobra's body. Like, this is a flash instant. This is not a, let me get a couple angles. Maybe those shadowy creatures will go away for a minute. No, like, this is a moment. And then he picks up Cobra and he runs. And the shadow people are not in, the elders are not in the image. So I think that they weren't able to be seen by the recording, and you can only see the people that weren't wrapped in void. I think that Imu wrapped them in his void, and they were able to do whatever they can do, to include this random spike thingy that can shoot out from one of them and attack Sabo and cause him terrible pain. If this is wrong, which I'm willing to accept that this might be wrong, I'm wrong often. If this is wrong, then we have to accept that that means that the image that Morgan's got a hold of from
Right, one more time, I was not paying attention at all.
Is in danger and coming in and just attacking.
Shout out to ADHD.
No holds bar, just goes in full force on that probably just means the world as we know it, like the world government and stuff, which makes a lot more sense. So anyway, as Imu was manipulating all of the different kingdoms and setting up the structure of the Celestial Dragons and the world government and saying, you know, this is a wonderful...
We'll finally get the
this is a
history of the
wonderful
world. I
system where
can't
there are,
wait.
you know, 5
It's going to be so
men
great.
that are a group council, and we have
I
all
wonder,
these
I
checks
don't
and
think
balances, but
he
it's
ever wants
made.
the
It's
manga
all
to ever
amazing.
catch up
Like,
with the
when
anime.
Imu was setting all this up,
But I can't wait till this, like,
Chloe
I wonder if it's going to
saw
be a
what was
movie.
going on and teamed up with Joy Boy as well as the bearer, the original bearers of the Will of D.
I don't even want to hear, like,
panels that
that's a theory on it,
that
though.
Imu is using. I have a lot of things to say about this too. I think that Imu was directly involved in the Void Century holding done at that time.
Skip the
So
theories.
this is my Void Century, but that it's on or
My
off,
Void
but
Century.
I feel like there's got to be a
Face
connection.
ass boy.
I also really think that there's a connection
Oh, girl.
with
My fault.
what the 5 elders look like. I know that loads of people think that these are just nondescript silhouettes that Oda used, and after he comes back with his laser beam eyes, he will draw them in more detail. I don't think so. One, if you look at the panel of, I should hold on. Let me really quick give Sabo the credit he deserves. Sabo listening off in the corner while all this is going down, and then seeing that Cobra's life is in danger, and then coming in and just attacking, no holds bar, just goes in full force on the most powerful people on the earth. Amazing. I love Sabo. I have not been a Sabo supporter. I didn't like the way he was introduced. I didn't like his fake out death 1, 2, or 3. And generally, I have felt that he has been
When Sabo was first introduced in Dressrosa, it was special because it was like, damn, okay. Seeing Luffy that emotional, you know, it was cool seeing that. But it was, I wish it was like Sabo like being scared. I wish Sabo was more emotional. Sabo did cry though. Sabo did cry. I didn't remember that. It was fine. I just wish it could have been, maybe it could have been done better. You know, and Dressrosa, Dressrosa. I don't even remember. I was too young. I was too young to actually, and I wasn't in the community. I was just reading it. So much is happening in my life.
Hear the story. But I'm all in now. That doesn't take away the critiques that I've had in the past, but as he is right now,
I was just watching Sawyer. Oh yeah, and I watched Sawyer.
Loving. And that panel of him jumping in with his fire fist and attacking them. Oh, love. Anyway, shadow people. So
Sabo doing that. Like, you know what? Let's just end this right now.
And we see
Great
the
move by
shadow
Oda.
people standing
Great move by
around him. One of which is coming above him as if flying. That doesn't seem natural. 2, this is the exact portrait image of what we saw in the newspaper. So this is it. I mean, we even see the Denden Mushi that's there recording it or taking a picture of it. Like, this is the moment. And we know this because 1 second later, Sabo's running away with Cobra's body. Like, this is a flash instant. This is not a, let me get a couple angles. Maybe those shadowy creatures will go away for a minute. No, like, this is a moment.
So
and then he picks up Cobra and he runs. And the shadow people are not in. The elders are not in the image. So
like, it's
I
interesting.
think they weren't able to be seen by the recording.
I feel like, I don't know. That's true though, because the pictures were taken. It's like, why aren't the Gorosei being taken either? Like, maybe it's just a camera angle, but that doesn't really make sense. You know, maybe it's just because like because I feel like if what's it called knew already. I mean, I feel like if not the big news. What's his name? Oh, what's his name?
And you can only see the people that weren't wrapped in void.
I feel like the news guy. I'm sorry I don't remember his name. I feel like if he knew, we probably would have gotten an indication of that. Like, he doesn't know anything. Maybe I'm just like, I feel like it's a writing error actually, because because the picture is taken and it's like the girls here are like standing right there, and that is the same, like, you know. So maybe like, yeah, she's saying that like he edited it out. Big News Morgans. Maybe Morgans edited it out, and like maybe Morgans could blackmail. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense though. It makes sense. Murphy's on something, but it doesn't make sense how
them in his
they're
void,
not in the image.
And they were able to do whatever they can do to
And this
include
void
this
thing,
random
man?
spike thingy that can shoot out from one of them and attack Sabo and cause him terrible pain. If this is wrong, which I'm willing to accept, that this might be wrong. I'm wrong often. If this is wrong, then we have to accept that that means that the image that Morgan's got a hold of from the Dendenmushi of that moment where all of these shadowy figures are crowded around Sabo and Cobra, that means that Morgan's is aware of what's going on behind the scenes. That means that he knows that these elders can transform into something, and he probably is also aware of Emu, which makes Morgans one of the most important and valuable characters in all of One Piece right now. If that's true, if these guys are not wrapped up in void,
If it's
and
true,
this is just some nondescript something, and they were seen in that Dendenmushi, and then and Morgans just decided to crop the image, then he probably took the full image and sent it to them and said, "Hey, I can take everything to the ground right now. What do you have for me?" Which he absolutely would do, by the way.
funny theory
Morgans
though. Not gonna
would
lie.
never hesitate to blackmail.
I just feel like it may be a writing
highest
error.
authority in all of the world.
It's like, oh, wait.
Never hesitate.
If the pictures
He would
are
say,
being taken,
"I've
why
already
aren't they
got
in
the
it? Why aren't they in it?
I've already
That
got it
makes
to
sense.
print. I'll
I click on the Townsy shit. That's it.
got it to print. I'll send it out in 2 seconds before you can get anybody out here to kill me. What do you have for me?"
And as I'm editing, looking at these images side by side, I even lean a little bit more towards this theory, because if you look at the top of the wheelchair, the image is cropped right where the creatures, the elders, are hanging over him. So it's very possible that Morgan's cropped this and is using it as blackmail. And if so, I'm so excited.
But if the camera angle is
So really,
coming
these are
down,
two
maybe
kind
they
of theories
just
that I have.
maybe
Either
they know.
this is
Maybe
a
the
void,
Gorosei know that,
they've been
like,
wrapped
bro,
in void, this is not some nondescript.
why is there
stuff.
even a
I mean,
camera
sure,
there?
there's
Maybe the
probably
Gorosei
something
just.
underneath the voids, like they still might transform.
Who took those
And there's
pictures?
just void
Oh,
around that transformation to give them
okay, Sabo probably took those
a
pictures.
little bit extra
Wait,
protection.
wait,
It's
wait,
either
wait.
that or
Who took those
Morgan knows
pictures?
everything. And both are.
Why is the camera there?
I also just think that
How did he get that damn picture? What the fuck is going
these are
on?
too descript to be.
I'm so
nondescript.
confused.
I don't know. I just feel like the photo was drawing.
Wait, wait a minute.
nondescript
How did she
to
even
black
get
and white
there?
to make them look so
And how did he
distinct.
get the
Anyway,
image?
the conversations between
Nando Big News.
Sabo were fantastic. I
Nando
love to see,
Big News.
Cobra really seeing hope in Sabo, and like, you can deliver this message to me you can keep going. You have to keep going. You cannot die here for me. Survive. I love that. I love the little flashback when he's hanging out with Luffy and Ace, and he's like, "Why do you both have D's in your name?" And I think it was Ace. It might have been Luffy. It's impossible to tell. One of them said, "Oh yeah, you're right. Do you want a D in your name too? You're sad, Bo." I love it. And obviously, in the next chapter, we address the fact that Sabo is constantly surrounding himself by people and constantly being influenced by people with the will of D over their lives. So this is significant, and it'll probably become more significant as we learn more. But Sabo really got beat up in this. I mean, whoa, he got so bludgeoned by this. Obviously, on Cobra as well, he's dead now. But for Sabo as well, he barely makes it out, it seems. Anyway, we learn that Vivi also has the will of D. I'm also a fan of the idea that if the will of D, the original group of the D wearers were their own people group, that it is a generational thing that's passed down. Because I've never really been able to reconcile with the idea that just a bunch of random people happen to think, you know what? My kid gets the middle initial D, and then like all of a sudden they have some sort of will over their life. It's always felt too circumstantial to me, or it's always felt too group have just gone far and wide. They're not in this designated area anymore, and they're passing down the name. So like there's Garp, there's Dragon, there's Luffy. Ace's mom had the will of D in her life and passed it down to Ace, and so on. And so here's another example of that, and that's that Lily had the will of D on her life, and now now Cobra is telling Sabo to let Vivi know that they too, Cobra and Vivi, also have this will of D, which is Lily. Vivi has the will of D. I don't know what it means, but I'm excited. And then we end this chapter with a bunch of flashes from other people. Vivi has been captured. Wapol has munched through the wall to see what's going on, freaked out, ran, and Vivi saw her opportunity and grabbed a hold of him and got out, which makes sense. It never really made sense to me. Wapol comes off as the most self-serving individual. Maybe not the most, but he's up there. He's one of the most. I mean, he left his kingdom behind. So I never really understood how he could save Vivi. Like, what would be your motivation? So this tracks, honestly. The fact that Vivi just saw an opportunity, grabbed a hold of him, and then basically, as soon as she got free, he was like, "Go away! I don't want you here." That tracks. But I do love the scene where Vivi is tied up and being told by Khalifa that you'll go down as missing and end up as someone's pet. So she's been kidnapped, she's being threatened, and who's she thinking about? Princess Crybaby. And whenever she finds out that she's doing okay, that panel where she just breathes a sigh of relief, I love that. I love her. Vivi's amazing. Anyway, chapter 1086. So much going on, man. So in this section, we have the 5 elders and Imu discussing, first of all, discussing Sabo and the fact that, as I mentioned before, he's been greatly influenced by many people with the will of D. You've got his 2 brothers. We have, he's a part of the Revolutionary Army. He was influenced by Garp, probably more that I'm not thinking of right now, but his whole life has been largely influenced and led by people with the will of D. So
I wonder where that's actually gonna go. I just got so tired. I was like, oh my god, please keep going, Napier. Keep going. People strain for this long. Oh my god.
The normie with
Sabo D, I just wonder like if there's a special like character like that's not a D2. Maybe Sabo's a celestial dragon. Well, even though he renounced his name, but maybe there's like a special character back in the day in ancient history where that filled out Sabo's role, the role that Sabo has right now. You know, the role that Sabo's like fulfilling right now. You know, the Draymond Green of One Piece, the nigga that's just doing all the hard work.
with this will clearly hanging over his life as well. So they're putting a bit of a spotlight on him. And again, I'm just really loving. I never wanted more emphasis on Sabo, but I'm loving the emphasis we're getting on Sabo. I think that it's just very, very, very good. So Eva says that he wants to use Vegapunk's creation to destroy something. They want to get rid of Egghead, and they want to make sure that they're going to be effective in it. So they're going to have a test run. They're going to try it out. Vegapunk's creation, they're going to try it out on, let's see, how about Lulisha? Why? Because it's nearby? I do love that for 1 second the elders are like, there's people there.
It's just right
Do
there.
you want to murder them all? And he's like, what do I care? And they're like, yes, very good. Okay, cool, neato. Why? Because it's close. Okay, sure. Good enough reason. All right, let's go. I love that they have that kind of independence.
So
They have
evil.
that self-thought.
So wicked.
I definitely do.
What does that mean?
With the idea that they're just extensions of Emu. I definitely think that they're own beings because they do question
Oh,
him.
Emu?
just a
I don't
second
know.
ago. Of course we'll commit mass murder.
Very weird.
Absolutely we will.
Very not weird.
So
Very
why?
weird. Queer.
Oh,
So I don't
that's
know.
the reason. Okay, good
It's
enough.
like-
Let's do it. I mean, I really don't think it's
Very
at
not-
all. I think that they're
very-
just curious, but I do appreciate that dynamic. Also, in editing, I realized
Forceful,
that I
very forceful.
completely skipped
I don't know.
over talking about the elders' name reveals.
Why is Saturn built like that? This thing is like a tank, and his like
I'm
legs
just
are like
excited simply because
a robot. The fuck?
getting these name reveals.
Sanji's dad
feels
over here.
So endgame and so much.
Like, I'm not gonna memorize these names. Get the fuck out of here. Sanji's dad, Gandhi,
I really don't have anything to say
the
about
fucking,
it. So it's just
the guy we met at
But it
Skypea.
is interesting to
Saturn,
hear
I remember
just
Saturn,
about
bro.
something that wasn't evil.
Garcia. When Ethan and whatever. Ethan, Saturn. It is what it is, boy. You Saint. Get the fuck out of here. Are you dead? Too many names in one piece. Who the hell? No, actually, go to heaven.
Destroy
God forbid bad
everyone,
thing.
everyone that rebels
Get
against
well,
us, everyone that doesn't like
get
us,
that eye surgery.
everyone that
Whoa.
puts a toe out of
Did I see a live chat? Don't like shit, boy.
Ooh, love that for us.
Don't like shit,
Emu
boy.
says,
Gotta
"I
get
desire
you
to
like
be."
shit.
Not happy about that. I assume it's
Oh,
because
boy.
I assume it's because Emu has unfinished business with Lily.
You thought like shit.
I don't care. I don't like it. Please keep her away from Emu. We got a reveal of 3 new Seraphim. They look amazing. Doflamingo strikes fear into my very bones,
The Seraphim.
even as
What side are the Seraphim going to be
Just
on?
that
I like the
man.
idea of the Seraphim going to Dragon.
But there
There's
he is.
one more
as a
tier,
child,
but
a Seraphim. We
part of
have
me is
Moria,
like,
a baby Moria, which
I feel like there has to be a rule of law. Like, that would be too,
washed up,
I don't know.
tired,
Like, it has to stop at the
given
Goro
up
scene
man.
to be
But
like
he
legit.
once had so much
But it would be
ambition
cool
and
if there was like there was
and
that, hey,
now we get to
when the
see him
revolutionaries come,
assumedly
it's actually Dragon.
at that
And he just
potential.
lied about
So potentially, assumedly, this version of Moria, when we see him, is going to be. I mean, obviously he's going to be powerful because he's a Seraphim, but I mean, it would be cool to see him with all the ambition, not with the lazy, everybody else do stuff for me, there's no hope in dreaming anyway kind of version of him.
Oh,
See him
I used to be so.
prime.
I used to be.
I mean,
Huh?
Right now, as a child, wouldn't be his prime. But
Think I'm out of that
ambitious
stage.
version of him, and if
Weird
they keep
ass
growing
depressed
and
stage.
keep
But I'm out of that
aging,
shit.
We might see him in his prime, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm even more excited about seeing a little baby Croc. Why? Because it's a little baby Croc, and I love crocodiles, so I'm excited for this. And that's the only.
Used to be
reason.
very
This is where we
pessimistic.
actually get to see from.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Sabo's
nope,
perspective
opposite.
the,
It's just something in the brain.
that
Eventually,
he
it just
overknew
snaps.
Russia, and it was described
Yeah,
as
that's-
something
I
that
don't
no
know.
natural
That's just people.
creature could explain.
You know,
It's
people-
a dark, vast
Yeah,
thing.
it just takes like time, I suppose,
Yeah, and
man, for every
avoid.
single person.
Emu specifically said this was made by Vegapunk. So I could definitely see
I
the
have
elders approaching Vegapunk and saying, hey, we want something that can create a void. We want something that can create a void and suck it up and eliminate it from history. I could definitely see that happening where it's something that Emu wants to reflect what he's capable of or to reflect what he can already do just on a wider scale. That makes sense to me. Dragon thinks it doesn't make sense. Dragon is convinced this is wrong. He, when Iva kind of goes along with it, and he's like, yeah, maybe. I mean, this makes sense. It must be something that Vegapunk created. And then Dragon was like, nope. I don't think so. Hold on, Iva. Vegapunk would not build such an obvious tool of murder. And Dragon, my friend, I just think you're wrong. Like, what have we seen Vegapunk do so far? The Seraphim, for one. What he did to Kuma, though Kuma opted into that, supposedly, for two, but he still did it. Like, Kuma might have opted into it, but he still did it. The Seraphim, I'm going to go back to them.
Man,
Because
stop
once again, that is a weapon of mass destruction. Supposedly, he tried to remove all free will from them while creating them. We could still get further revelations. We could learn that Vegapunk put free will in them. You just have to wait a second for it to get activated. I'm not discounting that, but as it looks on the surface, that's pretty nasty. That's pretty evil. And I'm pretty sure they're killing machines. And everything I know about Vegapunk up to this point has me thinking that he's the type of person that believes in advancing science for the sake of advancing science without really putting very much thought into how that affects the world, how the world will use
That's
it,
how scientists
how that
are.
can potentially damage everything.
And,
just
you know,
his-
we all know
his
the
perspective of this,
Einstein,
everybody connecting to the web and
Japan,
delivering their own information.
he
without
created this
thinking about
thing that
implications
eventually
about
led to,
what
like,
somebody
I think
uploads
nuclear or
misinformation,
something.
what if somebody
I'm not sure if it was Einstein, I'm not
misses
sure.
that? Like, he does not seem to think through the ramifications of his inventions. He just wants to invent. And sure, he may have a good heart. Like, he may be thinking, oh, I want to do this for the betterment of man. But I really think that it mostly comes down to, I want to advance science because I'm interested in how far I can push science. So if Imu came to him and said, hey, I have an idea. How about let's create a void? Let's see if we can just eliminate something from existence. And he presented it in a way that sounded interesting and scientific. Vegapunk would go, ooh, I wonder if I could. I mean, I don't know. There's a reason Dragon said this, right? So we can't just take this off the table. It's certainly possible that this is an ancient weapon and Vegapunk did not make this, but Imu said he did, and he had no reason to lie in that moment. There was no one around that he needed to lie to. So that seems kind of legit, and also, I'm sorry, but this tracks for what I know about Vegapunk. Anyway, this ended on the reveal of Saint Figureland Garling. I don't know how to say that. I know a lot of people are saying that this is Shanks' dad. It might be. It might be his dad, might be his grandpa, might be his uncle, might be his cousin. I don't know. But the point is, this is probably a Shanks relative, and that's exciting to me. I mean, it's certainly sad that he killed another decent Doflamingo, but also he's been a Celestial Dragon for a long time, so we probably haven't seen the heinous things that he's done in order to maintain this status. But, you know, I do like that he was helping.
That head ain't hurting. I can't
and I'm
focus.
sad that he got executed for helping the subhuman scum. That sucks. But I'm excited about this reveal because I love the idea that Shanks
I'm not as excited. I don't really
born
give a fuck.
into a
Quite frankly,
Celestial
Figureland,
Dragon title
Finding Shanks' dad, like,
completely
okay, who
forced
cares?
Because I'm still very much
Well,
a fan
you just
of,
killed.
I
Who
still
cares? Who
very
is
much
this nigga?
subscribe to Shanks being not evil.
I wonder what he's
that
gonna do
he
next chapter, though.
was-
What type
I
of
mean,
strength
fire
he's gonna
is
show or
also
display.
already against
But
what the Celestial
I'm not really
Dragons
worried about that.
think that they deserve.
He's old.
But I
Like,
think that
you know.
he has been advocating for Luffy all this time. I think he saw the potential in Luffy. I think that he knew from a very, very early point in the story that Luffy had the potential to be the next Joy Boy. I even think that he knew what fruit he was putting in front of Luffy to potentially take. I know plenty of people have said that before me. I'm not trying to claim that theory as my own, but I
Who knows?
definitely subscribe
Shanks
to the
probably
idea that
knows.
Shanks has a lot of knowledge.
knows?
He knows a lot
Who
of what's going on, and he is
And maybe
not
Shanks
living his life in alignment to the
knew
Celestial
about the
Dragons.
fruit.
And I love that.
and like,
because
you know,
we're
Shanks
not
like, okay,
hearing
I'm gonna
from
do this, but he's like, you know
someone
what?
Born into power and born
Maybe
with
maybe-
this kind
who
of
knows what Shanks
indoctrination,
knows, for
really,
real.
with the Celestial Dragons.
I don't know. I wonder why I gave it to
Just
Luffy.
from
Who
birth,
knows?
being raised.
We'll have to like, and we don't really know if right
You
now. I
are
think
better.
Oda has to
And
show a little
your
bit
life
more,
is
but
destined
he probably
to
did.
be
Oda
someone who is
may have to show a little
served.
bit more.
because you deserve, like, it's in your blood. You deserve this. It's very hard to just kind of unlatch yourself from that. Like, you're basically conditioned to a certain kind of future when you're being raised up with that sort of belief set in your mind. And I love seeing the instances of people who have grown up with that to some extent and who have detached themselves from it and even set themselves against it. Sabo is a great example of that. Sabo, who was a noble who completely set his life against what that was all about. Not even as a child, seeing what was wrong in it and not liking it, but then teaming up with the Revolutionary Army and setting himself completely against the nobles and the Celestial Dragons. And now we have Shanks, who, unconfirmed, but we all seem to believe it, is of Celestial Dragon descent. And it could be that he was put in a treasure chest and sent off to sea because he was rejected for one reason or another. Or, I mean, he was a baby, so I don't think he chose to leave. But I mean, there could have been a lot of reasons why this happened. But regardless, he has a title. He obviously has respect. He was able to stop the Marine Ford War. There have been multiple instances where he's just walked up to somebody of a lot of power and he's been given respect when maybe he should have gotten slapped down. And maybe it's because of the name that he holds, because that name still holds power. And maybe he'll use it when he needs to. But then there's every other instance where he sets himself against it. Personally, I love this. I think that it's incredibly valuable to have instances like Sabo and now Shanks of people who were born of a certain, born of a status that would give them a life.
I can't wait till it's revealed in the story. I'm not going to. Oopsie.
Born of a status that would give them a life of riches and pampering, and instead they've seen through it and they've chosen to set themselves against it. Again, Shanks was sent off as a baby, so I don't know to what agency he had, but obviously his name still holds some value, so still he's made his choice. I don't know, I love it. Also, we haven't seen Luffy in a super long time.
What does it make him a figure then? I don't know.
I love Luffy.
He could be part of the family.
These
Could be
last
part of the
chapters
family.
have been banger
Who knows?
after banger
Maybe.
after banger, and I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm sad that we're gonna have a long break, but Oda should
Yeah, well, Oda.
you know, take care of his health. So good for you, Oda. Anyway, what did you think of these last two chapters? I talked about a lot here, but there's still stuff to talk about. There was a lot, so feel free to check.
Oh my goodness.
What's up, y'all?
Randy
You know what
Tripp.
time it is. It's about to be that time.
No. Do not watch that nigga. No. Did I? I don't want to end it yet. Oh. It does take a lot to stream. I'm not gonna lie. It takes just like my first 45 minutes. Wow. But oh my goodness. Where One Piece is just we're rushed into these things. It's like we're the final end game. It's like we have so much more story to get to before we can even match up. We're still getting factions, for Christ's sakes. So it's like, why even? Man, it's so much story. There's so much story, and when we're probably getting back to Egghead, most likely. To finish that Seraphim business, and boy, oh my goodness! Now, what happens because the incident is yet to happen yet? I feel like the Straw Hat Grand Fleet has to arrive at Egghead. That has to be it. To fight against all the ships and Garcia. No. Garcia wouldn't reveal his ability. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen because they're still shrouded in secrecy. Yeah, maybe because he's always there to protect Garcia. So it's interesting. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being. If you watched to this end, thank you for being here. See you guys later. And stream. Whew.